A triumphant chapter with a triumphant moment deserves a triumphant review. This chapter is honestly everything I hoped for. Well, considering the events that have led up to it. And unlike the previous chapter, this chapter made me feel tension. I think some of the ideas were executed pretty well in spite of them being quite derivative. I feel like many people can be a bit harsh on this chapter as Toyotaro once again borrows previous used elements in the series. As you have MORO, who attempts to do something not too dissimilar to what Cell did when he tried to blow up everything and take everything out with him, which is what Cell did at the end of the Cell arc. Well, on top of that, you have MORO absorbing the energy of all creatures on Earth, with Goku on the other hand receiving energy similar to the manner he did when he defeated Kid Buu. Although I would argue that this is much similar to how Goku beat Broly in movie 8 if anything. But regardless, it's how Toyotaro adds a tad bit of creativity to make it different and more interesting. Suffice to say, it's a satisfactory conclusion for what was a bumpy ride. Now, while I can very much argue on the fact that this is once again like this is a big final boss moment, you know, like when you beat like the final phase of the final boss. It's like when you play Zelda Breath of the Wild, or you play one of those like Devil May Cry games, or one of the games that you play where you have to fight the boss in different stages. Like you first defeat MORO, Vegeta defeats MORO, MORO transforms, and Goku beats him again, he transforms, and then he goes and becomes giant, and that's when you know this is phase 3, the final phase, and this is like where everything is gonna ride on. So that in itself is a little bit predictable. However, what's interesting is, like I said, how you do it. The fact that he made Toyotaro, MORO, fuse with the earth, and on top of that have a time limit that if you can't beat him, he would still explode and he would just destroy everything. So it's just basically that MORO has been defeated right now, because essentially he would be destroyed, and because he's gonna blow up, so I would assume he would die anyways. So what Goku needs to do is he needs to deal with the consequence of not finishing him off. However, I'm a little bit irritated that in this chapter itself they haven't addressed that Goku yes, they did address that he fucked up in the previous chapter, but it's not something that, like I said, they're gonna try to fix, which I hope they try to fix, because if you're gonna keep address that Goku has this flaw, then I hope you do something to address that. However, I digress. Goku's Ultra Instinct is still very powerful and doing everything to block and avoid all MORO's attacks in spite of them coming from all directions. Because right now the enemy is the very thing that Goku's trying to protect, the Earth. And keeping with the thematics of the end of Dragon Ball Z, Goku's reminded that he is not alone in this fight, as Vegeta finally lands in the battlefield, and I honestly miss Vegeta. It felt like we haven't seen him in a long time. And I'm glad he's back. His contribution was greatly needed and delivered nicely in this chapter. I absolutely thank Toyotaro that he didn't spout the usual nonsense, why does it have to be Kakarot or my pride, blah 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 blah. He just manned up and did his job. Gotta respect that. Also, it shows that his spirit fission works on opponents as well that are stronger than him. And I really like that they're also utilizing that move that he just learned in the previous chapters, that they just didn't forget about it. However, before I mention that, I think a lot of people are anticipating my comments regarding Whis and Beerus in this fight. And when I say all of you anticipating, or a lot of people, I'm talking about the 2 of you that always watch my videos. Yeah, only 2 people. So yeah. But anyways, for you 1.5 that's watching this video, I do like Whis' contribution in this arc in general, and like he's the voice of wisdom, the voice of Goku that whispers to him about what he should do and motivate him and sort of guide him to the right path, giving him the advice that is needed. I do like the scene where he blocks MORO's attack with one finger. It sort of like shows that Goku's still not on that level yet. However, I still find it a little bit distracting when you combine it with the fact that Beerus says that he's going to lend a hand. And why I find it distracting, because it sort of takes you out of the manga or out of the chapter itself, and you start wondering what was Beerus going to do. Could he have actually defeated MORO? Was he gonna Hakai him? If he Hakais MORO, is it gonna like destroy the entire planet? And how was he gonna help exactly? So this sort of poses the question whether Beerus is still a lot stronger than Goku or not. And Again, I do have a problem with it, but I also don't have a problem with it. I just hope that they just like clear it up and don't make it confusing, because Beerus right now honestly lacks a lot of feats for all the feat whores out there that like are obsessed with feats and obsessed with whether Beerus is stronger than Goku or not, because a lot of evidence would suggest that he is not stronger. I say most evidence. However, you can still make the case that he is still. Again, I just don't like the fact that they keep reminding us that he can do something about it, but then again they tease you just a little bit for the plot to be like, oops, nope, we're not gonna do that, just to fake out. But again, it doesn't really make the chapter bad in any sense. I'm just like venting over here. So Vegeta uses his new learned ability to aid Goku by helping him find the weak spot. And by the way, this is probably why it reminds me of the final bosses of video games, as typically every giant boss in video games typically has the crystal weak spot that is usually either on the chest or most notably on their foreheads, like in this case. And just like Moro, you have to force them sometimes to reveal that spot so you could attack them. But anyways, Goku flies towards the crystal as soon as it appears so he could destroy it, dodging and avoiding the countless hands, even punching through them in Superman style. And like most cliches, he is stopped at the very last hand, that he is caught and stripped out of his energy. And now only if Goku used instant transmission, I think this fight would have been over. But whatever, I'm glad he didn't use the instant transmission, because this would have ruined the beautiful ending that happened. Now, this is one of the most interesting things about this chapter. When Goku is caught, he comments about how he doesn't have enough god power. The most interesting thing about it is, as we know about Ultra Instinct, it is a form that rivals the gods, and it's a form that transcends the gods in some ways. As you all know, Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue are the forms that possess God energy and God ki, and they're the forms that Beerus himself prophesized about when he thought of Goku as a rival to him. Even when Goku fought Beerus at the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, Beerus thought Goku as a rival to him. Of course, he wasn't as strong as Beerus, but Beerus had to let's just say he fought a little bit seriously. Obviously nowhere near 100%, but we could just say that Beerus had to expend some of his energy to fight Goku. So when they talk about God energy in this chapter, it really makes me wonder about the stance of Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. And this is one of the things that I used to talk about in my previous two chapters before, when I talked about how Mastered Ultra Instinct feels like the actual God form. And I feel like maybe unintentionally, that's what Toyotaro is trying to do. He's trying to show us that Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, maybe, I'm just saying, by the way, this isn't a headcanon. Don't take this as something that is definitive, because this is just me trying to explain what's happening, because it doesn't make sense. But it seems that Ultra Instinct is the sort of the real God form, the real form that rivals the gods, the real form that puts him up there. And partly I'm saying this because Vegeta sends his energy. He uses his spirit fission to do ki transfer. And this is another point that I want to talk about. We have seen this technique, like ki transferring and transferring ki from one character to another. I mean, obviously we've seen Goku giving his ki to Frieza on Planet Namek, and we've seen it vice versa, Frieza giving his ki to Goku. And in the movies, giving ki and transferring ki to each other, especially like Broly Movie 8, the most notable ki transfer moment when all the Z fighters, when they were almost dead or almost defeated by Broly, they gave their ki to Goku and Goku one-shotted Broly. This is similar to this, however, the way they do it is by utilizing Vegeta's spirit fission. So this is sort of confuses me. Can they do ki transfer otherwise? Can't anyone just shoot ki blast to another person and give them a stamina boost or an energy boost? So, or revive them? I don't know. The implications are a little bit confusing. I'm not saying this, I'm not trying to point out a plot hole here or anything. I'm just explaining to you that I always was under the impression that ki transfer was always a thing and it didn't need spirit fission to do that. But maybe spirit fission actually makes it exponential. Maybe it makes it better. Maybe it makes it stronger. Maybe Vegeta's fusing it with his own God ki. Maybe there is a way to justify it. I don't know. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's stronger because Vegeta is using his technique. However, Vegeta also gives his own God ki to Goku, and that only makes him go to Super Saiyan Blue, which kind of makes sense because that's not enough. Like, the ki gets to make him revert back to Master Ultra Instinct. Like, Vegeta's energy would only make him go back to Blue, if anything. But still, it's still funny, or it's still interesting how they keep saying that Goku needs divine energy, in spite of the fact that Vegeta himself is giving him God Ki. But I guess divine energy and God Ki are a little bit different. Jaco is the unsung hero this time. I think Jaco's quick thinking and initiative comes in clutch this chapter. I don't know if we can call this character development, as Jaco is a character who bails whenever things get hairy. Thinking about it, he's kind of like the Yajirobe of Dragon Ball previously. But anyways, Jaco finds Majin Buu to ask the Grand Supreme Kai for help. And this is where Toyotaro adds his own flavor and surprises us with the appearance of Oop. I like how it's executed. It's much different than the Spirit Bomb in the Kid Buu fight. Like, with the similarities of both instances, in that instance, after Mr. Satan asked everyone for help, we were expecting the Spirit Bomb to be ready by then. However, in this instance, we see a huge wave of energy, the kind that eclipses anything we have seen before. And after the energy is sent, Toyotaro reveals the source of who sent that energy. I think that is a lot more impactful. Had it been in reverse, I think that would be a lot more distracting. But again, this makes me question, why is the energy of the Grand Supreme Kai that Oop has inside of him is a lot stronger than the God energy that Vegeta has with Super Saiyan Blue? Like, I mean, even Super Saiyan 1 Goku could, like, wipe the floor with the Supreme Kai. Like, maybe not the Grand Supreme Kai is very strong. But I'm talking about, like, the Supreme Kai in general, like the Supreme Kais we have seen, like even Zamasu, who's a prodigy Supreme Kai, cannot compete with SS2 Goku. SSJ2 Goku wipes the floor with the Super Saiyan 2. He could just demolish Zamasu. So that's why I don't understand a little bit, why is this divine energy special? Like, okay, you can make your own conclusion why this divine energy is different because it's pure energy, but still, like, angelic power, the power to move by your body makes it move by itself. Why does it have to do anything with divine energy? Like when Master Roshi achieved when he achieved like Ultra Instinct Omen, or one of the signs of Ultra Instinct, did that mean that Master Roshi tapped into God divine energy? This is why it gets a little bit convoluted once you start to think about it. But again, if you guys have any sort of explanation in the comments down below, please, by all means, you can type and comment whatever you want. Just don't tell me something unless you actually have like an actual source. Maybe you can make sense of it, but let's not pretend that your headcanon is what's going on, what's happening, if you know what I mean. But regardless, we can forgive this because the resulting of that power being sent to Goku makes Goku transform into this giant form. And this is honestly, I don't know how to explain it. It's very badass. Like, it actually gave me goosebumps. I really appreciate the effort here because a part of me actually was expecting a Super Dragon Fist. Like, I won't lie, since like the whole arc of MORO had so many callbacks and so many things and so many references, I felt like it wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility for us to see the Dragon Fist. And plus, the Dragon Fist is something that I am highly anticipating to see at some point. So yeah, I mean, we saw Broly making a comeback, we saw Gogeta, so why not the Super Dragon Fist? However, what we got here is actually better. It's an original idea, and it's something that adds more to the Ultra Instinct arsenal. So, like, this is one of the weapons of Ultra Instinct, and I think one of the things that some fans might criticize Ultra Instinct is, aside from, like, these fluid movements, maybe it doesn't have, like, distinctive abilities, but the fact that Goku can, like, manifest his power and manipulate his ki to a point where he can become a giant, I think that's super awesome. It's just the way he's like holding MORO to the ground, and MORO's face expression towards like Goku, and Goku just establishing dominance and just force is something so badass. And I think it was such an amazing experience and an amazing end for this fight. Even though I don't like how MORO, like how he started and where he ended, like he ended this mindless monster. And if you even look at his face throughout this chapter, like it's just disgusting, it's gross. And this is sort of like what Zamasu did when he fused with the universe. And and we had to but in that instance, Goku failed to save Trunks' timeline. Everybody did, actually, and they had to erase everything. But in this was a triumphant moment. This was a moment where everybody pitched in, everyone was there. The Earth, so to speak, the people Chaozu, Tien, Piccolo, Vegeta, Gohan, just everyone pitching in and helping and being there for Goku, and Goku taking that responsibility and destroying Moro just makes for a satisfying ending, and I absolutely love the thumbs up at the end. So I think this is by far the best Dragon Ball Super arc that we had ever. Dragon Ball Super arc, by the way, not Dragon Ball arc, Super arc. When it comes to modern Dragon Ball, this is the best arc. And I absolutely cannot wait to see this chapter, or not this chapter actually, but the whole thing animated. This makes me want Dragon Ball to come back very soon. I remember at one point back in 2017, 2018, I actually got a little bit sick of Dragon Ball. Not that I didn't appreciate Dragon Ball, I don't want it to end, but I just felt like I needed space from Dragon Ball. Watching it weekly and seeing some of the stuff that I have done, it just turned me off a little bit. But this actually reignited a lot of the stuff that I liked about Dragon Ball, and I think and I feel that it can get better, and hopefully it will be better. So I hope the anime adaptation can look at this and they can find the good stuff, they can enhance and build on the good stuff, and maybe try to ignore some of the bad stuff, maybe tweak some of the stuff, because the anime and manga divert. They're not the same, they're essentially the same, but some of the events are a little bit different. But yeah, this is me finishing the Moro arc finally. I cannot believe I finally did that. But anyways, yeah, I'm pretty excited to go to the next arc and review with it with you guys. So if you guys enjoyed this review, then please like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, so peace, see you guys later.